Good evening, everyone. Today's council meeting is the municipal combined meeting, Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, 6 p.m. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, I have a notice.
Roll call first.
Oh.
Councilmember Brusher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmembership Freeman. Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by an annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Sentinel, and Desi Talk on December 11th, 2021, and posted main lobby municipal complex on the same date.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council members, the review of the minutes. Any questions on the minutes? Moving forward, for 5, the administrative agenda from the mayor, 2 appointments, 1 from the Environmental Commission and 1 for the Historical Preservation Commission. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Reports from all council committees. I know we may only have a few. Is there any members that would like to discuss any items?
Council President,
Yeah.
do you know when we might have the committees? And then could you request reports from the other committees that we have throughout the township that council people don't even sit on? Like we have a insurance committee. There's a human rights thing that people keep on asking me about people or you know, are they having meetings? So, because if these boards aren't being active, then maybe we can look at filling them with people that are.
Thank you. I will definitely look into it. The meeting, the list of committees was sent out this afternoon about 4 o'clock. But I will,
Okay.
I will look into the
He signed them.
committees that are not filled, and I'll speak to the administration about that.
Thank you.
If you have anyone you want to recommend, obviously just submit those names forward. Are there any other questions for council committee reports? Seeing none, points of light. If anybody has any discussions on points of light.
Yes, Council President.
Oh, okay. Council Vice President
Yes.
Joyce Ship.
Yes. I want to, because we're ending and closing out the month, I'd like everybody to know that this is... Microphone. Okay. Hello? All right, good. I would like everybody to remind everybody this is actually Heart History Month also, and 1 out of 3 women die of heart disease, more than any other disease, more than breast cancer, more than anything. So I'm reminding everybody to be conscious, very conscious of your health, because your heart is what beats the most. And we're closing out Black History Month, and during Black History Month, I would have hoped on the 3rd floor that, and the Lunar Chinese Year, I would have hoped on the 3rd floor that we had art displayed from Chinese and from the African American community. I would love to have that up there. And last but not least, this month also is about I did the Black History, I did the heart health, and also let us all remember that to go out into the schools and to go to our libraries. Our libraries lack the amount of African-American books and stuff that we need, in the amount to let everybody know this is Black History Month. So I just want everybody to know that this month is filled with a lot of holidays, and we should, it's a very short month, but we should celebrate them all. But always remember heart health, because I was taken back when I realized how many women die of heart disease in America. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilwoman Harris.
Yes, I want to just say how excited I was about the items that Mayor Joshi brought up in the State of the Township speech last night. Especially, I'm so happy for the residents of the southern part of Edison. There's so many wonderful things coming there, so many wonderful initiatives, and I'm excited for the whole town for that. I'm especially excited about the fact that no warehouse is going into Silver Lake, and that is so big. And I know he's not here right now, maybe he'll come to the meeting later on, but Ron Luffler was such a linchpin in this whole movement, and he deserves a lot of credit for all the energy and the boots on the ground that he got for this. So I just want to point that out, and and Ron deserves he deserves a big round of applause, or certainly a great deal of credit. So that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harris. Is there any other points of light from the council members?
Council President?
Sure. Councilman Fulmer.
I just wanted to bring attention to two events that are going to be coming up within the next 2 months. The first one is the Claire Barton Neighborhood Yard Sale, which is going to be happening on April 23rd. I actually am very excited that that is going to coincide with the Amboy Avenue Tulip Walk. I think that both events running simultaneously will be very nice. The event is figured to run from 9 to 3. There's no cost to sign up. If you'd like to sign up, please visit clairebartonneighborhood.org, and there's a form there. The second item I wanted to mention is the Edison Earth Day, which is going to be celebrated on Sunday, April 24th. I was going to have Jay give a little bit more information, but he doesn't seem to be here. But I wanted to mention that it looks like we are going to be expanding the cleanup that usually happens just at Lake Papiani, and it's going to be expanded to include the entire town. So if you are interested in cleaning up an area in town, please email Jay Elliott, I believe it's JELLIOT at edisonnj.gov, with an area that you are interested in cleaning up. The Clean Communities program will help provide gloves, litter grabbers, trash bags, and all of the necessities in order to facilitate. That's it, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members in discussion items for points of light? Seeing none, moving forward to item 8 from the Business Administrator, A through C. Any questions? For
Yes, Council
Yes,
President.
Councilwoman Harris.
Regarding C, I've been back and forth with people, and most of my questions have been answered about this. I'm particularly interested, being a mental health provider myself, in this particular service. I'm fine with the fact that Trinitas is providing the services. I've looked at their credentials, it all looks good. The unanswered questions that I still have to do, first of all, with the fact that I don't know why there and how there could have been no competitive bids this year. I know they've been our provider since 2016, but I need an answer to how many bids have we had in past years? How many competitive bids have we had in past years? And how are these publicized? I think I was told that it's on the website, but I just find it unusual that a service like this would have had no competitive bids. The other question I have is that I was told that only 19 people out of the 680-something employees last year used these services, actually 13 people. And that seems like an extraordinarily low number considering everything that's been going on with COVID. I can tell you that my own referrals in my private practice have been through the roof, and I get a lot of them from EAP. And I'm concerned that maybe employees don't have enough information or knowledge about this service. It's a great service to provide. And so I'm wondering what avenues the employees would have to know that this service is there for them. So those are my questions. I'm not setting this aside. I'm just wanting answers to those questions.
Council President, I would also like to know the union involvement, because usually when you're self-employed and when you usually have the partnership, the union and the township usually gets together and decides on health. And I know for sure that if you go out of network, you have to pay more. So I don't know if you guys have like a network, because I know now, even now that I'm retired, if I go out of network, which I always love to do because my mother lost her eyesight, so I go to the specialist of eyes. You know what I mean? So it's like out of network. So with that information, if you, while you're providing that, you can provide the union's involvement because we're self-insured. And you can provide whether it's going out a network, because that might be the network, there probably is a list and privy to other people that they can also see that are not in that network.
If I may, Council President,
Could you address Councilwoman Harris? I got lost between both. Can we just make sure we start here and get to
certainly,
Joyce?
Councilwoman Harris, I will get that information. I heard that today. We'll get that information. And I won't talk about what generally is done. I'll get the specifics and then get that information to you and the rest of the council. Councilwoman, on the network, this is really, you're thinking of if I wanted to go for counseling services as part of my health insurance, then it is an in-network, out-of-network situation. It depends on which plan, what union I'm in, what plan we have for that union. This is really outside of the health insurance scheme or plans. This is really an employee assistance program. So, for example, when I used it, I was having particular issues after 9/11 with my son, one of my sons. I called the EAP. I get counseling, and if there is something there that the counselor in an EAP setting says you need to seek additional help, then it falls within the health insurance, and that's what it goes to. I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah, because with us,
this is different. This is a little
yeah, okay, I
different
just want to
setting.
know what the difference was, because I know with us, like
Right.
you said that, like when I was teaching and stuff, we did have stress related that we could call somebody every hour on the hour. We were privy to having that.
Right.
Like you said, that if you're in certain situations,
Exactly.
they give you the opportunity to see someone
Right,
all
exactly.
24 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Council President? You want to make sure the door's not locked?
Oh, she's going over now.
Council President?
Marla, I don't have a problem closing it as long as they can get in.
She's going to unlock the fob.
I'm sorry.
Council
Go
President?
ahead, sure. Councilman Brescher.
Yes. It was pointed out that last year, I guess, they were 19,000, and this year they're at 15,000. And I do know this company. Well, okay, I shouldn't say I know the company. I questioned the company myself also to find out it was the same company that we've been using. One at the time that, in fact, I recommended for them to go look at the Board of Education, because the Board of Education offers a similar type service to the students. But this firm wasn't large enough to do thousands of students. So they had to go with like a Rutgers Behavioral Health at that time. They happened to be like the only one in the state that could handle like a crisis at that level. And I do know people that have used them here, and the way you explained it is correct. They've went to them, and if there were additional issues that were, kind of compounded, then they recommended them to go where they went through their insurance to someone else. This was like an initial, like an evaluation type of thing. But do you know why their cost was reduced, or no?
This is their proposal. You don't know if you're going to need it or not, how many employees. I mean, it can fluctuate radically. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher.
Council President, I have a B, right? And I'd just like to make a statement for the public. B was the award of an architect, and they had a disclosure statement where they talk about contributions. And I'd just like the public to know that they listed everybody here with no dollar amounts or anything. And if they contributed, there would be dollar amounts. Since there's nothing listed, it basically means that we have received nothing. Correct, right?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because when I read it and I looked at our names there, I'm going, wait a minute, I didn't receive any contributions, and why are we even listed? But just wanted to make that clear, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Any other questions from A through C? Seeing none, number 9 from the Department of Finance, A through C. Any questions from council members? Seeing none, from number 10 from the Department of Health, A through C. Any questions from council members?
Council President?
Yes.
I know it was explained to me that there is an indemnification clause in that contract. I did not see it in the document, so if we can just make sure that that is a part of the agreement that ends up being signed. Thank you.
Will do.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Council
And
President?
I'm sorry, some directors are not here tonight purposely because of our evening we had last night. We didn't ask to have them report here, so I apologize for any additional questions for directors.
Okay. Council
Councilman
President?
Brescher, I'm sorry.
Yes. Last year, we did an analysis of our animal shelter, just to make sure that everybody was, paying their fair share. And we did it by usage. And the report was put out. I don't believe the new administration had that. Okay, so I do believe they haven't had it. But just so you know, A is better than, so I don't have a problem with A. B is better than. C puts more of the burden on the Township of Edison than what's fair as far as usage. I'd like to see if we could pull C, and if the administration could just review that document.
Okay, it's up to you
Okay.
guys, but if you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we did was, Kendra Roberts, they did an analysis with Jay Elliott and everybody, and we did it by usage. I mean, it took a month or two to kind of get everything squared away and come up with a matrix for everything.
Matt, is there, sorry, Councilman Brescher, is there a need to do all three together? Can we, if we decide to pull one, does it one affect the other? Do they have to simultaneously be?
No,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
And I could, to be honest with you, I didn't send it to Matt, so right, he wouldn't be aware of
Well,
probably the
Councilman,
document.
you need to follow the procedure. I'm sorry, I'm just joking.
No, we're good.
Well, this is why you're not going to get answered. No, I'm just kidding, everybody, just kidding.
No, it's fine.
We'll pull that. I did review this with the health officer, because there was substantial increases the last year. But I'll verify that with him on Dunellen.
Yeah, Councilman Brescher, when we get to the consent agenda, you can pull that.
Okay.
Okay. Moving forward, are there any other questions from the Department of Health, A through C? Seeing none, moving forward to the Department of Law, 11. Just also, I want to add that we have Resolution 151 being added for the appointment of Louis Raynon, Esquire, as the Director of the Department of Law. Are there any questions from 11A? And this is B.
Council President?
Yes.
I seen these areas, and I looked at the areas that we had last time, and I'd like to see if maybe the administration can look at, to be honest with you, the entire area of Route 27 looks like it could be an area of redevelopment. So, maybe as opposed to these different areas, we could look at going from whatever, a Talmadge Road to a Plainfield or to like a Duclos or something like that, and just take a look at the larger area.
Absolutely. We'll share that with the administration.
Council
Matt.
President, didn't we say Route 27 last meeting? We talked
did-
about the blighted areas.
These are additional properties, and
These are additional.
still in the same area.
So we're looking at all of them, not just, we're
Yes,
looking at all
but,
of them. So we did 27 at our last, those blocks were at our last meeting.
These are also 27. These are additional ones on
Okay.
27.
I just wanted to make sure we're looking at everything in the same direction, not skipping all over the place. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, good point, council members, and we'll look at that, and I'll speak to Matt. A separate meeting that we can look into having more done in one row of 27?
Yes, sir.
If there becomes more?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So no other questions. Moving forward to 12 from the Department of Planning and Engineering, A through E. Are there any questions from council members? Hearing none. Moving to 13 from the Department of Public Works, A and B. Any questions from council members? Hearing none. Moving forward to the Department of Recreation, A and B.
Council President,
Yes.
I see we're buying a mobile stage trailer. I guess originally we were going to put a stage up like in Papanani Park, but then this allows us to use it throughout the town.
Yes.
And I like that idea as opposed to us renting them all the time. But I don't know where we ended up with the past administration. I know they were going to order a tent. Same thing, like we rented the tent and the tent was, cheaper to buy the tent. Have you spoken to them about that one?
Matt, where are we with the tent on the purchase?
I know they're working out the specifications so that we qualify it properly. I'm sorry. They're working out the specifications so that we buy the right one and also follow the public purchasing rules. So that is in the mix. You'll probably see that at the next agenda with the tent.
Thank you.
I'm told, Rich, you're going to help DPW set that up.
Help set the tent?
Yes. No charge. Thank you, council members. Moving forward, if there are any other questions, I'll move to the Department of Sewer, A, which has been removed from the agenda, 148, so we'll just skip that. Okay. 16, the Chief of Fire Department, A and B. Any questions? Hearing none, moving to 17 from the Chief of Police, A. Hearing no questions from council members, move to 18 from the Township Clerk, A. Hearing no comments from council members, 19 for the member of the Planning Board, Councilman John Pointer. Any discussions?
Yes, Council President. Sorry to put on my reading glasses. There's a little bit of text. The Planning Board held its regular scheduled February meeting on Monday, February 14th. On the docket were the following. There were two resolutions, P5-2020, Lytle U.S. Operations, and the Master Plan Reexamination Report. Both of these were previously approved by the board, and these were just memorializing the resolutions. There was no old business. New business was P13-2020, Designer Greetings Incorporated. Property at Block 375.EE, Lot 28 and 29, commonly known as 11 Executive Avenue, was a proposal to construct an approximately 76,323 square foot warehouse addition with office space on an existing 99,476 square foot warehouse building. For those unfamiliar, this property is located in Heller Park with a vacant lot next to it, flanked by another warehouse to the right, railroad and warehouse to the rear, and warehouse in front. The application sought a sign variance for waiving minimum sign distance. The board heard the professional's testimony and unanimously approved the application with the following conditions. 1, irrigation system was to be included to ensure landscaping was maintained. Type of commerce, it was agreed that it will not be a fulfillment center or e-commerce. The rooftop must be screened from public view. The final tree count would be confirmed, so that is in accordance with the tree ordinance. They would move the hot box back so it did not interfere with the fire hydrant. Vehicle and container storage would not be permitted on the property, and all signs would be fixed. If any changes were figured to be made, the applicant would have to come back to the board for approval. Finally, there were two miscellaneous items. 1, P5232, Pagoda Homes. Applicant requested an extension, which was approved. And Council Resolution R122, Areas in Need of Redevelopment, which was also approved for Big Nell to perform preliminary investigation. The next public meeting is slated for Monday, March 14th at 7 p.m. That's the end of the report. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilman Pointer. Council members, we're going to take a brief interruption. Is everybody here? In here? To do a resolution of recognition. Madam Clerk?
Whereas on January 22nd, 2022, Edison High School cheering squad proudly finished the NCAA High School Nationals in Dallas, Texas, where they achieved second place. Whereas the cheer team began their season mid-August by practicing game day, prep, conditioning, stunting, tumbling, and competitive skills Monday through Friday for 3 hours each day. The varsity cheerleaders also attend a 4-day sleep-away camp with National Cheerleaders Association in Pennsylvania. And whereas the team earned their first awards of the season at the camp, which included top band chat, top sideline, 12 All-American nominations, 3 All-American team members, and an NCAA staff application along with the bid to compete at the NCAA High School National Competition in Dallas, Texas. Whereas recognition is given to Coach Nicole Gorey, Coach Celine, excuse me if I say Yannette, along with the Spirit and Energetic cheerleading teams consisting of the following 16 students: Riley Abrams, Gabe Romano, Trinity Guadalupe, Alexis Olson, Michaela Terranova, Kendall Amberg, Mackenzie Caffrey, Allison Dima, Brielle Luminello, Ariana Orozco, Candace Sarney, Madeline Tabb, Milani Trapp, Avery Adams, Tiara Campbell, and Lexi Tango. Whereas to be considered a sport and activity must involve physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against others for entertainment. Cheerleading involves throwing, catching, spinning, flipping, all involve physical exertion. On July 20th, 2021, the International Olympic Committee voted in favor of granting full recognition to the International Cheer Union and cheerleading, and they are now therapy resolved by the Township of Edison, Township Council of Middlesex, that is fitting and proper to recognize and commend the coaches and all the named students of the Edison High School cheerleading team for superb demonstration of excellence in addition to their countless hours of hard work and dedication to the sport.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any comments from the public? We'll open up to the public for any comments on the resolution of recognition. Seeing none, we'll have a motion to close the public portion.
Motion to close the public portion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
Second.
Second. Thank you. Okay. Have a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second by George Freeman. Any council comments?
Council President,
Yes.
I'd like to congratulate everybody here. I could tell you when they talked about the sports for it, my children played Pop Warner, and there were probably more cheerleaders that got injured than the football players did. So I'll tell you, they're a tough bunch that you got out there, and it's good to see that you guys made it so far. Congratulations.
Council President?
Sure.
I would
Council.
I would like to say kudos. I started my volunteering by being a cheerleader coach for the Shamrocks back in the day. So I know that it's very hard and you spend a lot of time, you spend a lot of energy, and I thank you guys for being so great. Thank you.
Council President.
Yes, Councilmember A.J. Patil.
First of all, kudos to everyone who participated and the parents who encouraged everyone. And again, during the COVID time, it was not an easy thing. Again, the way I look at the sport, unless you have that enthusiasm, the energy, you can't keep crowd in control. They need to see some energy on the ground, right? So it's a wonderful job. Again, congratulations to coaches. Without you, things are not possible. Again, everyone, kudos, and keep up doing the good work, and be proud to see that Edison is representing at the national level. Again, thank you.
Any other council members?
Council
Councilman
President?
Harris?
Yes. Don't you think we ought to see a demonstration of of one of your cheers?
I don't want them to get hurt in here. We don't have a tall enough ceiling.
Congratulations, everyone.
Any other council comments?
President,
See, yes.
just want to say thank you guys for representing us on the national level.
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember John Pointer.
I'm just going to reciprocate what everyone else has said. Tremendous job. Thank you for representing Edison in such a great capacity.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. If, we're going to try to get everybody up here against the podium. If you please join us, we'll give out our resolutions and say a few words. Councilmember Patil, you're good. Please join me for the recognition. Stand here and look this way. Hello. How you doing? Good. Congratulations. I'm afraid you guys are going to start a cheer on you. But you're welcome to spread out a little bit, whatever you choose works best. I want to make sure everybody is seen. Yeah, we got it. So,
Who are the coaches? We have the coaches here. Perfect. So,
Eddie, you're going to. Okay.
Oh, well.
Coaches, you got to come up. Okay, great. Are you satisfied with how they're set up? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Make sure. Do you want you guys to get some pictures first? Council member. Why don't you stand next?
I don't want to hide. Yes.
Taking a deep breath and stuff in my stomach. Okay, fine, so you can see whatever you choose. Council,
Who you want to?
we're gonna first make, you're gonna make some council comments, I was gonna make a few. Okay, I just wanted, hello? Are we on here? Okay, good enough. Ed, I'm gonna stand over here, are you okay with that? First, it's complicated, I gotta talk to the camera and talk to everyone here. But first, on behalf of the mayor's office, our council members here, and our council presidency, we, really congratulate each and one of you for the sport of cheerleading. We've had a few cheerleaders in my family, so I know the emotional time that's put in, the families, the coaches, the time you take away for your friends, for this sport to compete. I'm looking for injuries right now. I don't see any. But you're doing a good job hiding them. No, but, and I'm also a fan. I'm watching cheer. So I'm in like my first season. And I'm not forced to watch it. I actually do watch it. I find it quite interesting. It's a good show. But definitely it's about time that on a national level and on a world level, recognizing what's going on here. And I truly believe in this being a sport, and I'm so happy to see it being recognized. And thank you for representing us. Thank you for your hard work, your commitment. Thank the families that are here today, all the time you take out. It just doesn't end cheerleading. It just keeps going. Then it goes to college, recreation, cheerleading. It just doesn't end. And certainly, I'm sure you appreciate your parents and all the time they put in, and the fundraising that's involved in this, and the expense. Who paid for this trip to Dallas? Fundraising. Yeah, we'll have to make sure we do a shout. We'll have to do a shout out to make sure if anybody has an interest in being involved in sponsorship with the Edison High School cheerleading or any cheerleading in town, certainly reach out. It's a need, and it's a true expense, and it's certainly a need. And who's the little guy here? Okay, so okay, he made it. So before I do the resolutions and pass them out. Coach, you want to come up here and say a few words? Come on. All right. Sure.
What? Oh my gosh. I'm very proud of them. They had a very, very, very successful season. We actually are competing this weekend for states and hopefully defending our two-time title in game day and our routine. So they had a great season. I'm really proud of them.
Coach, thank you. Yeah. Who's our cheer captain? Is our cheer captain want to say yours?
I just want to say I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be on such an amazing team and being surrounded by so many talented and wonderful athletes. I will say that like Edison cheerleading is like one of the best things that like has happened to us, and I really don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for that. So I'm just really grateful for all my teammates, for all the parents do, and of course my coach. How about you?
The moms do a lot, so we're really grateful for them because they don't get enough recognition. Coach too, because she does a lot for us.
But yeah, we're just really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Again, I'm going to extend it just to pass the microphone around. If you can just introduce yourself. We may have made a mistake in pronouncing your name. And if you want to say what your position is, we'll start from the back and bring it around to the front.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm Kaden Sarney. I'm a junior, and I tumble and bass.
I'm Allison Dima. I'm a junior as well, and I'm a back spot.
I'm Mackenzie Caffrey, and I tumble, and I'm a bass.
Oh
boy.
No, go.
Okay.
This is Milan Trapp. She's a flyer, a tumbler.
I'm Tiara Campbell, and I'm a tumbler and a flyer.
I'm Brielle Luminello, and I'm a flyer and a tumbler.
I'm Lexi Tango. I'm a flyer and a tumbler. I'm Avery Abrams. I'm a sophomore, and I tumble and bass.
I'm Madeline Taub. I'm a junior, and I bass.
I'm Kendall Lamberg. I'm a junior, and I bass.
I'm Mariana Roscoe. I'm a junior. I back spot, bass, and tumble.
I'm Trinity Guadalupe. I bass, and I wish I could tumble.
I'm Riley Abrams. I back spot, bass, and tumble occasionally.
I'm Gibber Romero. I'm a back spot, and I co-ed bass.
I'm Michaela Terranova. I'm a bass, and sometimes I fly.
I'm Alexis Olson, and I fly.
I just got. Okay, and I just got to ask: has anybody dropped you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Council member, would you join me here, and our coach come up here, and we'll just present the recognitions. Okay. Again, let me just get a little shot up here. Again, on behalf of the mayor's office, our council members here in the township of Edison, we truly are so proud of everyone here and the sport. I'll say it again, the sport of cheerleading and the hard work and dedication here, the injuries, and the concerted effort to continue when you're hurt, which is extremely difficult. I'm sure tough decisions made with injuries. And thank you so much for the time you put in. Thank you to the families. I really much appreciate it. I'm going to pass this to Councilman Patil for some final words.
Thank you. As I said, Council President, we have a wonderful team here, wonderful coach, and the parents who are encouraging our kids. I think the good thing would be we should invite the entire crew during our next event, one of the township event, so the entire town knows how wonderful our students are and what they are doing at the national level. So again, I would request one of your Chamber of Commerce or one of the event that township event we should invite. The second thing is, I know it's not just the time, but it also costs a lot. And I heard that you were contributing. It's not fair. When you are representing us at the national level, in fact, you should come to the council chamber and appeal. And I'm pretty sure this council will be generous, mayor's office will step in, and there will be people watching, the residents who will promote and who will be, I think they will be happy to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we just make this final presentation, council members, since we're all here, can we just join up behind in the side? Councilmember Harris, Councilmember Pointer, Councilmember Nish Patel, Council Vice President Joshua Freeman, and Councilmember Rich Brescher. In fact, I know Councilmember Brescher is going to sponsor the next event and pay for everything. Okay? Okay. And last year, again, you stay right up here with us real quick. Unfortunately, we can't hand everyone individually because we don't have the name straight. But again, on behalf of the council, the mayor's office, and the entire township of Edison, our residents, thank you so much for your hard work and congratulations. Thank you. Photo op. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And good luck with the stakes, ladies. Thank you. Coach, these are some pins for the girls.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. And you have to pass them. Did you, Marlena, did you seal these? Are these sealed? Okay, we just need a few minutes to seal them for you if you guys, I'm sure there'll be some small discussions outside. Sure, yes. But you're welcome to sit and watch the meeting, or which would be so interesting for you, but I'm sorry. But you're welcome to go outside. But thank you again. Thank you. Thank you, council members, for taking the time for much needed recognition for a sport. Thank you for your patience, and to the residents listening, thank you for your patience and your time. Madam Clerk, moving forward, we'll go to discussion items. Starting from my left, John Pointer.
Thank you, Council President. I have two questions for our new attorney, if it's okay.
Sure.
I know state statute stipulates that for special meetings on the planning board and the zoning board, a notice of 48 hours needs to be provided. Do we have the capacity as a township to make that a longer notice?
No, unfortunately, because it is set as state statute, there's nothing we can do. That is set by law, by the state legislature. And unfortunately, Edison's not in a position to change that.
Okay, thank you. The second question I have is, if an ordinance change happens and there's an applicant that is being heard that gets held over, does the code that was in effect at the date that the hearing started take precedent, or would it be the code that is in effect when the decision is made?
When the decision is made. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it, Council President. Thank you.
Counselor, just to clarify that, I think, John, we were referring to whether an ordinance was changed in midstream of an application.
Correct. Yes.
So that if it was changed in midstream, it would go by the pre-existing ordinance or the new ordinance?
No, the new ordinance. If the application is pending, the ordinance in place at the time it was adopted would hold, not the one while it was pending.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions? John? Moving to Councilmember Patil.
Thank you, Council President. First of all, welcome on board our new attorney. It's wonderful to see a different face after many, many years. And hopefully we'll all work together. We'll get the required help from you. Again, thank you and welcome. Council President, I have a question on the stormwater management on the Stevenville area. I think last year we spoke about the plan was ready, the design was ready, engineering things was done, and I think there were a couple of houses that were left to sign some document or something, the waiver, but otherwise we were ready to roll this project in 2022. If I could get the update from the engineering department.
That is correct. We have all the easements necessary to move forward with the project. We're waiting for authorization to finalize the design and put one portion of it out to bid and one portion to go to DP for permit approvals.
Right.
But we haven't been authorized, so we right now it's at a standstill.
So do we know if we, those easement from those couple of homeowners, if I heard it correctly, do you mind sharing that information that some one or the other way, if we can help, this council can help to reach out?
We have the easements.
You have, perfect.
Yes, yes. All the easements have been purchased, and the owners agreed to sign the applications.
Perfect. Very good.
It's just a matter of moving forward with the final design.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Councilmember Patel?
Yes, Council President. I had a question on where do we stand on making the planning and the zoning live casted?
I referred to the counselor to provide us a report in the discussion. I know you just became new, but we did have a small discussion about having that. I just wanted to go over the pros and cons of that, but I wanted to have a detailed list. But if you care to comment now, I just thought it would be premature, but I thought it was. Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay, I mean, for the next meeting, if we can have a report.
Absolutely,
And
I'll make that
if we need to go into closed session, I'll refer to you if we should have a discussion on that in full, or just do it in public.
Certainly. So just so I understand, the question is providing a report on live streaming meetings?
Live streaming, hybrid. We're referring to hybrid meetings?
No, so I was referring specifically to just broadcasting the planning and the zoning.
Okay.
And the interactive portion, I know is a little more technical, so we can discuss that at a later date. But just since the planning and zoning happens in this chambers, as I believe, it should be a pretty quick fix.
Okay. Now, Counselor, is that within our authority to authorize the zoning board, to override the zoning board to make them meetings become?
No, that would require an action from the Planning and Zoning Board specifically. We certainly can make a recommendation, but ultimately, those boards have the ability to make that determination for themselves.
Okay, but we still could look into that, and that would be a combined discussion. Now, we were discussing hybrids as well, and that's the question I thought you were referring to, because Councilwoman Harris was going into that as well. But I wanted to get a report and a full detailed discussion of the pros and cons and whether our system can hold it and what council members should be aware of. And this is a good opportunity for the public, but we also want to make sure it's accessible.
Council
Certainly, we'll
President?
make that available for next year.
Can I piggyback on that? I know I'm out of order.
On the zoning and planning?
Yeah,
Sure.
yes.
Absolutely, Council.
So, as you know, this is something that I have been urging now since I got on council. And this whole thing crystallized last week with what I understand were 80 people in this room for the zoning board meeting, standing room only. And, I think that there were individual people who were live streaming the meetings on Facebook platforms or whatever. But, to me, this just demonstrates the interest and engagement that the public has. And I think that the public deserves, for their interest and their engagement in these matters, I think they deserve to have a live streaming platform for planning, for zoning, and for the council meetings. There are people who cannot get here because they don't drive at night, they don't have a ride, they are disabled, but they still have an interest in this town, and they deserve nothing less than to have that opportunity to be engaged, at least through a live streaming platform, and if possible, if it's possible, to get to some interactive form of a live streaming. So I'm really urging that we move ahead with this and do some research into how this can be made possible. 80 people in this room for a zoning board meeting, that says a lot. So I'm hoping that we can get this initiative moving along and whatever questions answered, whatever obstacles out of the way, and get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Moving forward, any other comments, Councilmember Patel?
None.
Okay. Council Vice President George Ship Freeman? Session?
Yes. Was stated to me from some people who do want to participate, who do want to be more engaged, that they are feeling bullied because when they say something, if they don't agree with whoever is saying it, people just go out after them and just bully them the whole time. Some people have even have resorted to reporting the harassment and try to explain to people. Somebody comes to the podium or whatever, I don't care that you can have your opinion, but let them have theirs. It's not your job to shoot them down or to bully them or to go on public media to bully people. I'm really against that, people bullying people. And also, I would like to, get together with Councilman Pointer and work on the tree ordinance, because a lot of times our trees, people are digging up them and moving them around without permission and not putting trees back. And that contributes to the flooding in the neighborhood. I know people don't want to break leaves and stuff, but we need trees, everybody. We need trees. And last but not least, I thought that it was excellent that our new mayor put forth great and lofty ideas, and I feel like if he succeeds, we succeed. So we should all work together for a common goal to move forward. And I realize that I will see some shovels, and I'll be able to put on a hat this year and put on a shovel and dig my splash park, everyone. And also some other good things that we're having, and taking care of things and polishing up stuff for seniors. And people are worried about different monies and stuff. They should be able to get money, because I got 100,000 on my own. And I mean, so when grants and different, and you have different companies and different people around here to donate to different things. I mean, I had them to donate to the veterans. I had the biggest donation so ever came from me going out into some of our industry. Some of the biggest donations forever came for the YMCA. Biggest donations for public housing and for tutorial programs and stuff. A lot of people like to talk a good game, but we need to go out in this community where the industry and where different car dealerships and everything is. And you know what? They can give back to the community that they live in. All right? So we don't have to just put it on us. And when somebody start telling you something, you ask them, hey, what grant did you go get? Hey, how much money did you look after? How are you looking out? I'm not looking out for this one little spot. I'm looking out for Edison. And I think that together, all of us together, working together, standing behind, our new leadership, moving ourselves forward, will make everybody happy to be in Edison. Because who wants to leave town if you have everything you need right here? You don't have to go out, and you don't have to go out to other towns and see what they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Harris?
I commented before, those were my points. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rich Brescher? Seeing none, moving forward?
No. I see your committee list here. Thank you for taking very little effort in my request. But I will be.
You said Education Committee.
Well, I gave you a list. Yes. And there was more than that on the list. But be that as it may, I will go through a list, this list, at every meeting and ask all the chairs when their meetings are to make sure that these meetings are taking place. That's just a statement I'm making.
Okay.
I'm sure me and you are going to do well for the rest of the year here. Next question. We have legal matters that have been pending, where we have a company that's claiming they own a road down to the river. We also have a noise complaint that's been going on for many years, and we filed to go to court to, the business isn't stopping, so we need to shut the business down or arrest the people that are making the noise in the morning. Like if I had a party at 10 o'clock and the police came and they told me to break it up, and they did not, and I'm pretty sure they arrest someone. So I don't know where we are on these two matters. I do know that they were pending. We were supposed to get some information. I don't know if you have an update on those yet.
Council, yeah, do you?
Okay,
Sure,
yeah.
Council.
Councilman, I do not have an update on those matters, but I would be happy to get those matters from you directly after the meeting. And if an update can be provided, I recommend that we do that in closed session if it's pending litigation.
Yeah, well, actually, our old attorney was working on it.
Okay.
I believe he still would be, but I guess you guys are going to be the director of law, so it would come through you.
Correct.
And I'm just looking for an update because, like I said, the residents can't sleep. We can't do anything. But like I said, if I had a party, I'm pretty sure that I would be arrested. And the other one is just an update to see when we can actually go down to the river on our property and, take our kids fishing instead of somebody else that decided they wanted to close it off and he's claiming it seized the land.
Certainly, Councilman, I can provide an update to you.
Okay, then I have a question for you also. Could the council pass a ordinance that would say any public meetings within the township of Edison are live streamed? Don't we have the ability to pass such an ordinance?
The problem, obviously, it'd be subject to the language, and I'd have to review it, but in an abstract fashion to discuss it, the zoning and planning board are both what we refer to as semi-autonomous bodies, and they have latitude with how they conduct their meetings. The issue that you raise would be a novel one. Obviously, the use of streaming services is new in many places, so I'd reserve a final decision on that. However, I just would caution that these are autonomous bodies and do have the right to set rules with regard to their own meetings.
No, I understand they're autonomous bodies in the sense that they make their own decisions, they make their own meeting dates, but they do operate in our building. If they want to go to Piscataway and go operate, right, then they're outside of our ordinance. But if we created an ordinance that said that anything inside this building could be live streamed, I don't see the problem. Can you look into that for us?
I certainly will.
Thank you. We have Hickey's and McCoy, the streets. There is an area that's being used as like a laydown yard, I guess, from PSE&G. And I don't see them doing work here in Edison. I think they're doing work in Highland Park. And I'm wondering if we could get it cleaned up and returned back to us, as opposed to them using it as a staging area to work in other towns.
Councilmember, where's the yard, Councilmember?
You'd have to give me details of where you're talking about.
Hickey and McCoy by the Edison boys baseball. Yes, Edison boys baseball, Jefferson Boulevard between Hickey Street and Loring Avenue, Hankels and McCoy. It looks like a construction site, but it's like a it's a yard for them to work. So when they were doing all the work in Edison, they could operate out of it. But I don't think we're doing any more work over there. So I'd just like to check and see if we can return that to its natural state again.
We'll take a look at that. If I need details, I'll call you.
Yeah.
We just have to see what the situation is there.
I know, just to interrupt, I know that the Edison Boys Baseball is aware of it, and they have some temporary understanding at this time, but we can definitely have a separate meeting with them to find out how long they're going to be there and whether they're going to.
Right, that's where I'm going. If they still have work that they're doing, I don't have a problem, but I guess it's just been sitting there vacant for a couple months now, and nobody's been doing any work. So if they're not doing any work, let's get it cleaned up.
I was told, Councilman Brescher, that they were going to reinstate the property better than it looked previous to them being there. But we certainly should have a meeting to find out. They can at least orchestrate their vehicles in a proper manner. I have not been over to see it, but I did receive a complaint.
Okay.
No problem.
And then I contacted Pat Coyle. He's going to come out and take a look at some issues I have. And it's not just, I've noticed them all throughout the town. but if he comes by where I live, I can show him specifics. It looks like it's a town-wide issue where I guess we've spent millions of dollars repaving throughout the town. And we've had some water main breaks, and they've patched them, right? So we only have this little tiny patch where it's not going curb to curb on the brand new streets we paved. We have some of the brand new streets that are getting some depressions in them. I think I showed Kevin one of those. And then there's some cracking. And this is like all in the new concrete, the new asphalt that we just put in. So I'm trying to come up with a way, I guess, for them to monitor them and then for them to get them corrected in the spring. Because what I see is if we don't do it this year, right, next year goes and there's more cracks, there's more potholes. And, you know, within 5 years, the millions of dollars we just spent in paving, nobody will ever notice. So, yes, I'll meet Pat, but I'm looking for, this is like a town-wide issue. It's just not, you know, where I live. I just drive through these same potholes, you know, each day. That would be it, Council President.
Council President?
Matt, can we look in, one second?
I know that Pat is going out with Councilman Brescher to look at these sites, and I just need to get his report. I need to know exactly where it is, what the conditions are. If it's patches that we make, then it's simple for us to go back and fix those after they've settled.
Yeah.
But we'll get the list and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, I could appreciate that. I wish there's an opportunity for us to charge a fee for keep going out to follow up and bring these people in.
Well, if it's ours, then we're going
understood.
we're going to take
Because
care
utilities do have some issues.
Matt,
if it's PSE&G or one of the utility services, then we have means to make them go back.
Thank you. Councilmember, Vice President Troy Shipfreeman.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the last thing because I know people are going to be asking about it, about the traffic and the traffic problems throughout this town, especially involved in the schools. I have turned it over to the law firm, and also they'll be working along with traffic. So I don't want anyone to not think that we're not working hard on the whole project for all over the town. But the way the schools are situated and the way they were placed when this was, you know, the way where they're located at, it presents some problems, but we're going to work hard until we can figure them out so that it doesn't take you like half an hour to get down the street past the school or something. So I want you to know I turned them over to the lawyer, and I also turned them over to the traffic department. So thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President Triship. That's my own Council President remarks. Again, I've met with the administration a few times for different beautification projects, including the trees in Papiani Park, and also tree planting in and around the town. I also want to reach out to each one of you today. If there are particular beautification improvements you want for your constituents or complaints you've heard in the past, if we could get together over the next 2 weeks and provide a list to give to the mayor and see if these capital opportunities can be put into the budget. If we get a chance to gather in your communities of what needs to be done, I think it'd be important to raise this to his attention now while they're doing the budget. The sooner the better. I know some of the things we've discussed with one another may run parallel, but if I can get a list from each one of you separately and just forward it to the mayor and CC the clerk and myself, that would just truly be a great joint effort to know what we are doing parallel and what independently is being requested by your constituents and from the residents in and around your neighborhood or throughout the town. So that would be much appreciated. I'm looking forward to seeing the mayor's opportunities in town, and I was really felt it was an energetic speech last night at the State of the Township. It was a wonderful event, well attended, and I just, for the first time in a long time, I think we've gotten to a point where we can see a vision of what is going to happen in this first quarter. I have to give the mayor credit. It's his first 50 days in office, and for that short a time, I think we've put together several projects I think all the council members agree on that need to be started, and I'm looking forward to those shovels, as Joyce said, hitting the ground. We talked about the splash park for a year and a half, and it seems like this is going to come together. And this is something certainly that each one of us can say we own and we were a part of. And I'm also thankful to the residents who are out there in their grassroots efforts of being involved in the community. You know, sometimes it's important to just come and meet with the mayor and do your ask. I mean, some days at the podium it does work to be consistent and persistent, but sometimes a small conversation and discussing an issue no differently than what Ron Loeffler did. I mean, look at that amazing story we have to be proud of, and today we're purchasing the Glendale property, and that's going to be a super success, and let's hope it'll be a future riverfront project for the town. So I commend the residents for being involved, being persistent, and consistent in their matters for their neighborhoods, and it's just wonderful. I also want to thank our Commissioner Charlie Tamaro for the opportunity with the boats for the fire department, much needed, and it's a cost savings for us that we don't have to buy, and I hope maybe you can get a few more. I also want to thank the Commissioner Tamaro for his efforts in helping us acquire additional money to purchase this property in Silver Lake. This has been an ongoing effort we've had for a while, and each one of us have joined an effort together to keep the energy in this room, and I appreciate all of us, whether you're a council member before this time and a council member now, all of us uniquely had a lot to do with this happening, and I'm truly proud of it. Thank you, Commissioner Tamaro, and for the time. We are going to be asking you for more money, so if you come up to the podium, I think that's the questions we're going to be asking you, and thank you very much. I have no other comments. Council members, any other discussion items before we close discussion items?
Council President,
Yes.
I think for the people who are watching this meeting, we have the County Commissioner. I want to acknowledge County Commissioner Charlie Tamaro is here, and hopefully he will say something when his time comes. But again, thank you for your contribution to the Edison Township. Again, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Moving forward to the regular meeting, we'll get started with 21, approval of the minutes. Have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Councilman Patil, motion. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in, second. Joyce Ship. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I skipped my council president remarks. They said the administrative agenda. We have a motion to accept the
Motion to
council members
accept.
from the Environmental Commission and the Historic Preservation Commission.
Motion to accept.
Second.
A second. Joyce Ship for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Seeing none. We're going to open up the public portion to the comment on resolutions only. Any members who'd like to come forward and speak on the resolutions only? Commissioner Tamaro.
Of course, I'm here for two things, but the first one is Resolution 145, which has to do with the raft. I heard that Edison needed one, and I called up Joe Kriz. I forget giving my address, 4-Wheeler Drive, East Edison. Should have asked me. I mean, come on, Council President.
I was waiting. It was coming. I knew it was coming.
Okay, all right. I called Joe Kriza, who's the director of OEM, and spoke with Mike Gallagher, who oversees the Fire Academy. And I said, do we have a raft available for Edison? They said, absolutely. So we worked it out with Andy Toth and the chief, Chief Latham, to donate this raft and trailer to the Township of Edison. And it'll be done on March 7th, I think, 11 in the morning. And I'm very proud to be able to sponsor that and help Edison, because if you remember Ida, Timberline, all the bottom floors were destroyed in the garages in Timberline. People were rescued from there, and the raft would have helped them. And I think a couple other areas in town. I know I live by Glenville and Idlewild and Johnstone, and I walked the next morning, and there was cars spread everywhere. People had abandoned their cars, and that just wasn't the only areas in town. When I worked at Edison Lanes, many moons ago. The corner on Route 1 and in front of Edison Lanes always used to flood up to the over to Jersey Bowery, and the people would always get stuck in there and they needed assistance. And even during Ida, we had an ambulance that was stuck. So it's well needed for Edison. I know Woodbridge has 12 of them. And we're larger than Woodbridge, so we should start working on getting our rafts and training our firefighters to work the rafts and be able to rescue people when they need it. So I'm more than happy to be able to help out my town that I love and help out Edison, especially you. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Tamara. Any comments, resolutions? Christo? The resolutions only, right?
Yes, sir. Resolution authorizes adoption of Central Jersey Municipal Joint Insurance Fund Safety Incentive Program. What's that?
What number is that? Do you have the resolution?
128. Is that the fund I'm going to be hitting up when I win my civil rights lawsuits on Edison Township lawyer? Is that when Edison makes a mistake, this is who pays out the residents? Yes?
Christo, if you want to answer if you can ask all your questions, so I give you your full 6 minutes.
No, because there might be a
Answer.
follow-up. He could say yes, I might lead another question. He can say no, I can go to another one. I mean,
We're going to do it, Christo, we're going to let you finish your questions, and I'll let you come up for a rebuttal, but we'll answer all of them at the end.
I see we have 3 shared service agreements. I don't mind the one with Howland Park. I like Howland Park. The Nolan, I don't mind so much. We can do that. But we should remove 141, the one with Metuchen. Metuchen interferes with Edison too much. We don't need any help from him. And it's recently came out on social media how one of our library board members is just texting the mayor Metuchen, who happens to be the law firm of the Board of Education, how to text certain BOE members. So I think we should protest our 141 and send a message to the mayor Metuchen.
If you can just stay with the resolutions, you can come back.
I'm talking about protesting 141. I'm well within, am I wrong about that, lawyer? Should I stop speaking about the protest of resolution 141?
Sir, there will be no back and forth. If you can ask all your questions, they'll be addressed.
Okay, because if it was wrong, you would stop me, so I guess I'm in the right, and I'm just going to continue.
Christo, 141 is shared service agreement.
Absolutely.
For animal control.
Absolutely, understood. So,
you can continue.
I'd like somebody to have some integrity up there and just take our 141 out there. We know what a disgrace our library trustee, Tony DePascal, is. We know he doesn't deserve that position. And when he's out there texting people like the Metuchen mayor, who knows how much he's getting paid to attack Asian members of the Board of Education? That's racism. That could be a hate crime. It should be investigated by the FBI, I think. Don't you agree, lawyer?
Christo, as a professional courtesy, you just have to stick to the resolutions. You can make this comment when you come.
No, I am.
I'll allow you 6 more minutes.
That's why I'm doing my professional courtesy and being well within my legal means, you know?
But it's just, if you can stick to the resolutions, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. We don't have to. All right. So, yeah. How much time do I have left, Marlena? 2 minutes. To the chair, through Councilman Brescher, because you're always the most reasonable one up there, you know? It's not that I'm picking on you or anything, but, you know, you were a former Board of Education member. So were you, Margot. And I think, you know, as a resident of this town, you know, I'd be very excited for you to protest R141. We need to send a message to the Metuchen mayor. We're not going to have any agreement with him as long as he's manipulating people in the audience to attack BOE members, the same BOE he's supposed to protect. That's an ethical violation. He should have his law license removed. So Are we gonna remove, does anyone up there want to remove R141? We're too good friends with Mayor Jonathan Bush to even do something like that. How much time do I have left, Marlena? A little over a minute. I think if we had some integrity up there, we would remove Resolution 141. We would stand with the residents of this town who elected those members on the board, and for the law firm who gets paid to protect those members, to be messaging members of the audience, to attack the same members, I mean, it's a disgrace. What are we, Joyce, it's a circus. You say it all the time. I agree with you. We're running a circus over here, Joyce. I really do. Come on. It's absolutely disgusting. I know you guys are going to hate me for this because you guys are Bush's friend, but I'm still a resident. I'm still allowed to have an opinion, and I'm still within my legal rights to speak on this resolution. Had I crossed the line, the lawyer would have stopped me. So please, let's not manipulate people with friendship to take away their civil rights, because then it starts becoming insulting. How much time do I have left, Marlena? 57 seconds. God bless South Edison. God bless you, Commissioner Tamaro. Let's do the right thing and remove R141. As for the joint insurance fund, I hope they have a lot of money, because $4 million I filed tort claim. I'm going to be filing a few more tort claims with the stupidity of the new administration, the people that they keep rehiring. They're going to rehire Deal. It's within the resolution, insurance fund. How are we going to rehire Deal when he's supposed to be the BA? I'm supposed to take my civil rights violations to him, and Deal was the #1 person who violated my civil rights the last time. He could have stopped the whole thing. Am I still within my time, Marlena? 7 seconds. God bless South Edison, and God bless Donald Trump.
Counsel, you just want to address the joint insurance fund, just to clarify what the purpose of it is for? We can come back. I'm sorry, Matt.
That's our safety incentive program. So there are issues of training for employees. That's part of their program. That's all it is.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the public on the resolutions?
Motion to close the public portion.
Motion by A.J. Patil, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Council members, for the consent agenda,
Council President.
to my left, anything to be pulled? Council member John Pointer?
None, but I think we were going to pull 143, the Highland Park.
Is that the same one Rich is pulling, or you're pulling?
Yes.
Sorry to steal your thunder, Rich.
Pull 143. Councilmember Patil?
I thought 143 we removed from the agenda, or we are just pulling it for separate vote.
We're just, at this time, we're pulling it.
We're pulling it for the separate vote, not we are.
No, well, so far, I believe we're pulling it.
Yeah, I'd like to
I'm just
table
going
it.
to finish.
Okay, so we are just taking it out from
Taking
the
it out,
agenda.
then we'll
Okay.
table it.
We do.
And 148 is also the same thing?
Councilmember Patil, anything else to pull?
No, I'm just saying that if 148, I heard that it's no more on agenda.
Yeah, 148 is not on the agenda,
148
yes.
is no longer on the agenda. We didn't have it
Okay,
yet.
so we didn't have that,
Yes.
right?
That's off totally. That was
Perfect.
pulled in the work session.
Correct. I would like to pull 138.
138.
And I will recuse from voting. The reason is I don't have more information because it has the exhibit attached and my name is there, so I don't know what that means. And for that purpose, I will just recuse because again, not that I have anything to do with this firm, but I don't know the details.
Okay, so can you tell me which one?
Councilmember Patil, he's recommended for,
He's
we're going to
pulling
pull.
138.
Excuse me, Council Clerk. We're pulling 38, 138, and for a separate vote, and 143 for a separate vote at this time. Councilmember Nish Patel, anything?
None.
Councilmember Vice President Choi Ship Freeman?
No.
Councilmember Harris?
None, sir.
Councilmember Rich Brescher?
None.
Okay. So I'd like to get a motion to adopt the consent agenda with a separate vote for 138 and a separate vote for 143.
Motion.
And we're also adding 151.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Councilmember Harris,
Seconded.
second by Councilmember Patil. Any council comments? We already had that. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Madam Clerk,
38.
Resolution 138. Have a roll call? A motion to adopt, I'm sorry. Motion to adopt 138?
No. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt 138. Okay, Councilmember Harris, second.
Second.
Councilmember Joyce Shipp. Madam Clerk, roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Absent.
Abstain. Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Madam Clerk, Resolution 143, I have motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Councilmember Harris, second, please.
Well,
No.
yeah, I'd like to make a motion to table that one. I think it's just a review of the number, and we can put it
It
back
was,
up
oh,
next
this was
week.
the Highland Park one.
This is Highland
Okay.
Table.
So-
Motion to table.
Motion to
Okay,
table.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
We're going to table that. No reason to vote.
Councilmember Brescher's going to make the motion. Who's second?
There's no correction. We're just removing it.
Well, if you remove it, you want to remove it off the agenda totally.
Okay.
Then you didn't need to pull it for a separate vote. You should have removed it in the work session.
Okay, so we'll just do, we'll do,
You,
Now we have to do motion to table because you didn't
we're
take
doing,
it
okay,
off.
not a problem. Motion to table, please,
Motion
for
to table.
143.
Councilmember Brescher made the motion and Harris second.
Second.
Councilmember Brescher.
yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes to table.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes, to table.
Okay.
We have a list.
Well, we are done with the resolutions. Now, all petitions and remarks.
Open up the public portion for oral petition remarks. We have a list. Joe Shine? Jerry Shine, I'm sorry.
Good evening, everybody. Jerry Shine, 18 Winthrop Road, Edison. Reason why we're here tonight is concerns from residents regarding Washington School. There's been a lot of complaints, phone calls, emails to me about the parking situation, 9 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock when they go home. I mean, we all understand that you park on the right side of the road and the left side of the road, in either way, to pick up your kids. But the ridiculous part of it is we have residents that are actually parking in the center of the road, putting on their high beams, not high beams, their hazards, and literally parking in the middle of the street for a number of minutes with the back door open to get their kids that are coming out of Washington School, the front of the school, into their cars so they can take off. First of all, it's a safety hazard. And you have a crossing guard that's literally on the corner of Winthrop and Raleigh, standing there, and her safety is at risk. And you got children that try to cross over onto Raleigh, that these parents are more concerned about getting their kids in the back seat than what's looking ahead of them. I mean, I live on Winthrop, but I'm on the other side of Winthrop, off of 27. But I work at Sid Harvey, so I have to literally drive by that school every day to get home. And the traffic situation from, if you're coming from Stony Road, it goes from Washington School to Stony Road, and it goes from Washington School to the Boulevard of Eagles with the traffic. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. I mean, if it's possible, we can get a patrol there, 9 a.m. and at 3, just to get these parents that are parking in the middle of the road with their hazards on out of there, so we can get the traffic moving. I know I talked to Joyce about this earlier. I talked to Ms. Harris about this. It's a concern. It really is a concern because it's going to be one car accident, and a little kid gets run over, or a parent gets run over, because these parents are not looking. They're more concerned getting their kids in the back seat buckled up than looking forward.
Mr. Shine, we can refer that to the traffic division. I'll ask our BA, Matt, to refer this to the traffic division in front of Washington School to have it looked at for the hours in morning and afternoon.
It's Cambridge, Winthrop, and Raleigh. That's where the concern is. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Yes, I have a question. We had another resident that came up, and they were talking about Jackson Avenue over by Clara Barton.
Yes.
And we were going to refer that to the traffic unit to look at it. And my question is that I watched the planning board meeting, I believe it was, for the Kaplan development, Camelot, which still doesn't have the plants on there, and they're planning it correctly. I forgot about that one. I'll bring that up again another day. But at that meeting, they had a professional traffic study done, and they let our planning board know that it was going to slow the traffic down and that was a good thing. So, our planning board, by design, has made the traffic that slow. My question is, what would we be looking into? What would the traffic unit be looking into it? They're going to say, yes, it's slow, just like you designed it. No?
I understand that Councilmember Tricia Freeman has looked into this. Separately, I spoke to Doug Turner as well, and I know that we're looking to alleviate traffic during different patterns of the rush hour for the truck traffic. I can't speak for your report right now, but I could definitely have the BA look into that.
But my question is, when we have a planning board and they approve a development based upon a traffic study to slow it down, and now we're trying to speed up the traffic, right? I mean, we're working against each other. So I don't know, if that should be something that maybe the planning board should never be able to approve something that slows down the traffic, because then we create this problem here that we created today. So we, or the planning board, created this problem by allowing, that development to be built there. And now it's on our shoulders to try and fix it for the residents. So how can we do something like that? Can we pass an ordinance saying, any traffic studies that get done that show that the traffic is going to be slower in any of our planning boards, that, that's a detriment?
Rich, I can refer to a counselor, but I think and I think you have a great idea. The fact is, I believe that they're two autonomous bodies. They work independently without us. I mean, they have the jurisdiction to pass or approve.
So the planning board created the problem, right?
I'm sorry. Isn't this the public
You
section?
want to be interrupted, Rich, Councilmember?
Public section. Isn't this the public section?
You're correct. I understand your point. If we can carry this to the next meeting, I'll have the BA look into this and the counselor give a report.
Maybe you can get to the bottom of that one and find out.
Not a problem.
And if you need me to get you the video, I'll be sure to look.
No, listen, you raise a point. We'll definitely have it looked into. Any of the members? Oh, Charlie already spoke to you. Charlie Tomorrow, do you want to speak again? Charlie Tomorrow? Sorry, Commissioner. You're on the list. I got to call you first. He's on the list?
I signed up. 4 Weeks
Signed up.
Drive East, Edison. First, welcome to our law firm, Michael. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know our town is in good hands. I worked with your partner for many years on that council, sitting next to him. So I wish you well, especially with this council.
Thank you.
I'm here to thank Kendi Roberts in the Edison Finance Department. The last Saturday and the next Saturday, which will be March 5th, they're providing lunches for the Hands of Hope Food Pantry. And he called me up and he says, can we do lunches for you? So we're buying 500 lunches from the Edison Sub Shop, and last Saturday we gave out 250, and on March 5th we're going to give out another 250. So I'm here to say thank you to Kendi Roberts and the Edison Finance Department for really helping out those in need the most. Ken is also involved in Soup Kitchen 411. I want to thank you, Joseph, because you hooked us up together probably over a year ago. And when we first started receiving food for our pantry, and what they do is they go to work with different food pantries and throughout the state of New Jersey, throughout the country also, and work with different restaurants, especially during the pandemic. We know that the restaurant industry was really hit hard. And it allows them, it gives them, it provides them a way to make some money and also provide some food for the needy. When we first started, we started with about 250 lunches, and we went sometimes over 400 lunches. The Pines was the first one. We one time used Woodstack Pizza in Metuchen, and lately we've been using Tavern on the George, which I think everybody knows is owned by Doug Snyder, who's now president of the Edison Board of Education. So I appreciate his working together with us, and for Thanksgiving and our Christmas give out, he made 400 lunches for our clients, so I really appreciate that. And our clients do too, because they're receiving a hot lunch, which we always provided. Our food pantry's been there for 29 years, and we've always provided a hot lunch for our clients. Our numbers are not where I expected them to be, this time during the pandemic, because they were really worse during the recession. But I think with the inflation, I think those numbers are going to start increasing. So we're running a fundraiser, April 24th. It's a Sunday from 11 to 2 at Topgolf. So there's stuff online. There's opportunities for sponsorships. There's also opportunities to golf. So please help us. Please join us, and to help us to feed the people in Edison. Because believe it or not, most of our clients come from Edison. Number one, and a lot of them come from Edison. Joyce Ship, through the Council President Joyce Ship, that tree ordinance I worked on a lot when I was on this council, and one of the things I did to provide future councils, because I knew it wasn't going to be there forever, is that you can use 30% of that fund to improve your parks. And through the years, even when I wasn't sitting on that council, between the county providing half the money for park improvements and that fund, it didn't cost Edison Township a penny. So use that fund wisely. I try to get it 100%. But Rob Garabinchek fought me on it, so I compromised and we got 30%. So you can increase it to 50% if you want to, because that money comes from developers, not you, the taxpayers, not anybody else, but from the developers who come into this town and can't replace all the trees. If they put a 1 million square foot a warehouse up in our community, it's one tree for every 100, I think 1,000 square feet. I'm not sure, I don't remember the verbiage on there, but that's a lot of trees. And they can't always put them on the property, so they have to pay money towards it. And I know that Mark Danielle worked on that funding portion of it. On the certain size tree, you got to pay a certain price for that. And I know it's not cheap. So you should be able to have, I know that fund at one time, I think over $2 million in it because the town wasn't spending it. So I made sure they spent it. So, if you need any help with that, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Rich.
Rich Sweeney, Sutton's Lane. Being that we have the commissioner in our presence, I would like to thank him, personally thank him for when he was on the council for all he did for this town, and now as a commissioner. Thank you, Charlie Tamara. Thank you. As far as the school with the traffic, I think, Joyce, you spoke about everybody studying this and doing this. There is a traffic problem at every school in this town. I can speak of John Marshall, but it's every school in this town. And I think part of it might be because of COVID, that people aren't putting their children on the bus, they're driving them. I mean, I've asked the Board of Education and the council, but I'm sure you have to go through DOT to make that a one-way street by John Marshall School, because there's signs there that are contradictory where, they say, do not enter, and then they're just contradictory signs, and people are coming down there, and they're gonna have head-on collisions, God forbid, if a kid is in the way. But it's every school in this town. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you spoke about studying the traffic around the schools, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not just that, but laws for the streets also.
Thank you.
Welcome. Mr. Patel, I want to thank you for saying a yes vote for award system. The thing is, I've been researching the award system. I never knew too much about award system, but Jersey City, Woodbridge, I can go on and on and on. But there's some benefits to award system, and one of them I'm just going to speak of one. Award system with development, it controls it by 38%. And I'm only going to say one thing. It controls it, multifamily and development, by 38%. And if 38% in this town, maybe we won't have as much traffic around schools, but thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Maria?
Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson. First, I'd like to thank everybody that contributed to our clothing drive. That would be beautiful, Edison. We're looking to do remarkable things throughout Edison. Also, next month, we'll be doing a day-wide cleanup, and those funds will help us. If anyone is interested, please reach out to me. I can give you more details. Also, we look forward to, in April, for our Earth Day, we plan on having a large table filled up with different items for the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, public portion, please? If you don't mind, Chris, it's your first comments. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sandeep Ramakrishna, 36 Edgewood Road. So I'm here to ask you to consider an ordinance for a public advocate for the planning and zoning boards. A public advocate is not a new concept. In fact, we've discussed this topic many times in the past. It's also been successfully implemented in other cities, including Paramus, West Orange, Oradell, and Bridgewater is also considering doing such a thing. Coming out of the recent zoning board meeting, I'm convinced more than ever that we need a public advocate for serious applications. This includes applications like Charlie Brown, which has use variance. And for the record, I want to state this, right, is the zoning board members engage residents in a very courteous manner and with patience. I want to stress the criticism I have today is not the zoning board members, but the board itself. The way we interact with the board, but not the members. I have nothing but respect for the board members. They have to endure a process of being the arbitrage, where sometimes it might be really, really contentious discussion. The process of engaging the board is tedious and cumbersome. Without a lawyer, it felt like the system was working against us. This is my personal opinion. Imagine a situation where an applicant with unlimited resource comes to your neighborhood and with an outrageous proposal. It is incumbent on your neighborhood people to organize, prepare, and then present an opposition to the board. In our case, which is in case of Charlie Brown's, many people spent hundreds of hours. This is not an exaggeration. Many people spent hundreds of hours doing just that. Organizing, understanding what MLUL says, understanding all the Edison zoning ordinance, and preparing and presenting to the board. However, it was a painful experience to get any attention from the board and ask for some reasonable concessions. We were told to be represented by a lawyer if we need to further communicate with the board. Why should the residents spend time, energy, and now money to be represented against such interests? We pay taxes. We are responsible citizens and expect that the city, through its boards, represent the interest of the people. We hired, this is again Charlie Brown's example, we hired a planner, a traffic engineer, and in the process discovered a litany of issues with the applicant's plan. Edison has a city planner whose main focus, unfortunately, is procedure rather than the feasibility of the project. For example, the proposal which the applicant brought forward had 7 children out of 23 townhouses. And then they revised it, and then they came up with the age-restricted proposal. And in the age-restricted proposal, one of the key items which was debated on zoning board was 3-car trips in the peak hours. What their traffic engineer said was 23 houses with grown kids will have 3 car trips originating during peak hours. My fellow residents here argued about the school and the traffic. This is the problem. We approve these things with outrageous numbers like these things, right? These are some significant numbers. Our planner went ahead and made his case and argued that it's upwards of 90 round trips or trips during peak hours, 3 versus 90. So these are some significant differences, too good to be ignored. Why is it that the residents have to spend money, time, energy catching these points? City has allocated a significant resource on planner. Why is it upon the residents to do this? In addition of spending money and traffic and planner, now the board wants us to be represented by a lawyer for just to interact with the board and ask for details and get some more details. This is unacceptable. The public advocate, in my opinion, will give us level playing field with these boards. When the applicant decides to postpone, this is one of the widely used tactics to wear the residents out. They postpone, and it's money from our pocket going away because we have to pay the planners, the traffic engineers, and the lawyers by hour. As a matter of fact, Charlie Brown's postponed its application 3 times over the past 6 months. What I want to do is provide you a summary of ordinances with Paramus and West Orange, Ardell, and now Bridgewater is considering adopting. I'm not going to go in a lot of details because Ron has emailed you a copy of these ordinances, and I have a page full of Ron jokes. So if I have time, I will go to that as well. The purpose of appointing a special counsel for the planning board and zoning board is to advocate for the public interest and not for the individual interest. It would consist of assembling a pool of attorneys appointed by the council. The city may not have to spend any money. It could be an escrow from the applicant, and I'm just going to read out some of the examples where a public advocate would be triggered.
Sam, your time is up.
Time is up.
Okay.
Council President?
I do acknowledge what you brought to our attention. I read some of the emails. I'm going to ask the administration to do a report to see what's feasible and what we are allowed and not allowed to do within the Township of Edison. I do appreciate the hard work you've put in and your community and each resident that's come forward. I understand what you're trying to do for your residents, and it's recognized by other residents.
Thank you. Just to
your time is up.
Yes, sir. If you want more help.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Council President?
Yes.
Can we allot time at a meeting for us to have an open discussion about this? I mean, the legality of it is pretty simple. I mean, other towns do it, I guess.
Think, I'm not disagreeing. I think once we get a report from the administration of what we can do, I'm open to that. I just would prefer our council members to be briefed by our counselor through email or private discussions.
Let me rephrase my question. How long would it take our attorney and the administration to produce this report to us? Because I've been on council for a long time, and I see stuff that takes, 6, 8, 10 months.
I believe by the next.
I'm sorry, and I was another council member was asking, so I missed. What report specifically would you be seeking, Council?
Well, Joe wants a report.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking if we could have that report by the next meeting.
On the opinion on what the speaker is proposing?
Correct.
Well, a couple of things. First, I'd like to see, he referenced a certain ordinances in other municipalities. I'd like to take a look at those. I think that'd be a starting point of any analysis. I think there are a myriad of legal issues with what was discussed. I certainly would like, I could prepare an opinion, and once I gather those ordinances, I could give you a timeline, but I'd like to see what's proposed and then provide a timeline on when I could provide it.
And when would that be that you would make your next step to check the ordinance, to read them, to then tell us when we could have it?
Before the next meeting. Before the next meeting, I can certainly do
Let me tell you
that.
where I'm going, right.
Yeah.
How long will it take you to look at the ordinances and read them? Are you going to do it tomorrow, or you don't, you're busy this
Rich,
week and you're going to do it next
Councilman,
week?
that's not fair. Let's just give him,
I'm
it's his first
asking
day,
for- I'm
his
asking
first
for-
day on the job. I
get
think he's
it.
answered you
I'm
fair.
asking for a timeline, Council
It's-
President.
He said
and-
before the next meeting.
Council President, you do understand that you are supposed to point of order, right? And I'm speaking to him. I'm asking a question, and then you're interrupting, which is wonderful, right? I guess you're the king of the council chamber. But my question
I'm just asking for professional
looking-
courtesy, Council President.
Professional courtesy is I'm looking for
Councilman
a
Brescher.
timeline and a date. That's what I'm looking for.
Councilman, and I'm not, I'm taking your request incredibly seriously, but the issue was just raised by a member of the public. The breadth of what he's suggesting not only was a public advocate, but certain counsel. There are a myriad of issues. I'd like to immediately begin looking at those issues, but I can't say with certainty that we would have it for you the next meeting. We'll certainly work on it, and I can give you an update by next meeting as to where we are, with the hope that if it's not next meeting, it would be the following meeting. We could have an opinion to you on these issues.
Okay, I'll reach out to other attorneys and get an opinion for me by the next meeting. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher.
Council
Any other-
President,
Okay, good.
I would just like to make a comment after the public portion
Okay, sure.
on this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other members? I'm sorry, in the back, please. I'm sorry, I don't have your name. I apologize.
You're my favorite or my least favorite.
I gotta get glasses. I can't see as far.
Yeah, right. Emmeline Loeffler, 6 Nancy Circle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your hair's up, you're wearing a T-shirt.
That's okay, Joe.
I mean, I'm your
good.
favorite. Your husband's getting
I
recognized.
still haven't decided. So my original plan, our original plan changed as to what we were going to talk about. The first thing I want to do is to congratulate the Edison High School varsity cheerleaders. They had a great season, and I'm super excited. I will be there on Saturday with my hands up for Edison, cheering them on as they go for a state victory on Saturday as well. They're awesome. But the main focus of my time tonight is discuss what happened at the State of the Township address last night. You, especially you, Joe, may not know how my family became involved in this issue. You know the real story? You don't know
Well,
the real story.
you don't have to bring it up today.
So I think it was actually fate that we became involved in this issue. You see, in the 80s, the Egan family lived at 6 Nancy Circle, where we currently live. In that time, there was a proposed development of a street and 6 homes to be put in the woods right across from our house. Rich Egan started and led the crusade to ensure the purchase of one of Edison's first Green Acre funded pieces of open state property to preserve the woods and the creek. Rich was really proud of this accomplishment, and he made it a point to share it with us during the journey of purchasing our home. And we always say when people come to see our house, you know, our across the street neighbors are the best neighbors on the street. We've got great neighbors, but looking out to see the woods across the street is really what sold us on the house we purchased. So, like I said, I believe it was fate that whoever lived in our home, or the Egan home, would step in to help preserve the area. So, thank you, Mayor Sam Joshi. Thank you, Mayor Joshi and the administration and this council And also thanks to all the residents who really stepped up, worked together, and made this warehouse stop. We have guaranteed that there will be no warehouse in the Silver Lake section of Edison. That is so exciting. We are also super excited to learn the vision of the property. A warehouse should never be placed in a residential neighborhood. I'm excited at the prospect of a new master plan that's going to address all the old zoning and all those forgotten about properties so that no residential neighborhood ever has to go through this in Edison again. I want to acknowledge every single resident in the Silver Lake neighborhood and beyond in the rest of Edison who came together for this effort. It wasn't one person. It was never one person. It was a coordinated effort by every resident who pitched in their time, ideas, expertise, and some money. We didn't know, this as a team, we didn't know what we were getting into. We've traveled the highs and lows of the journey together. We've bonded as neighbors, as they should, and we've grown to understand and appreciate the neighborhood more than we did before. But again, had it not been for us all to have the drive for this win, it never would have happened. We also want to thank Walt Social of the Open Space Committee for writing those amazing letters to the council regarding the open space and the historical significance of the Silver Lake area. So again, thank you, residents. Thank you, Mayor Joshi. Thanks, administration and council, for listening to the residents. We really appreciate that the historic Silver Lake neighborhood has a new beginning and a second chance to remain a residential neighborhood where families and children have a safe place to learn, live, and grow. Thanks.
Thank you. I forgot first name. Please come up. It's Fagan.
Thank you, Council President. Nick Fagan, 42 Edgewood Circle. Wanted to first thank Mayor Joshi, the administration, and the council on working towards an agreement towards Silver Lake. Great job. Thank you for doing that, and an awesome announcement. Secondly, but probably first, should have been first, is congratulations to Ron and Emmeline Loeffler for their tireless work in this project. They're absolutely right. It's a team effort to make these things go, for sure. But that team needs a coach, and they've been awesome coaches. They've learned about MLUL law and taken like a college course in the last year and a half on their own, and have had that steep learning curve of how to talk to the boards and how to talk to the planning board, the zoning board in their language. And that's not stuff that we know or are educated about as residents. So they've learned it, they've done it on their own, and now they're teaching others. And so thank you for being an awesome coach. Good job. I also wanted to thank the public for coming out to the zoning board meeting. We had 80 folks in this room. It was standing room only. They had to go get a stack of chairs from downstairs or from upstairs, right? And we still had people standing around. So thank you for coming and supporting us, and we really do appreciate it. It was a 5-hour meeting, and I'm really humbled for those folks. They sat in silence and they listened for 5 hours to testimony back and forth, for like 3 hours worth of testimony from the applicant, 2 hours from them, and an hour from the opposition. And then they only had about 2 hours to speak. And so it was really moving to see residents, regular old Joes coming and supporting us. We also want to, I'm very thankful this meeting, I want to appreciate the mayor and members of council, you know who you are, for allowing individually someone to live stream. And thank you for that member that actually did the live streaming for us. The last time that was attempted, the chair threatened to remove the individual from the room. And that was in 2019, I believe. So I appreciate I appreciate the administration. Can you thank the mayor and let him know that we do appreciate the transparency to allow that to happen and not have the person removed out of the room this time? And I also appreciate the discussion at the beginning of the meeting about being able to live stream those events, understanding that they are autonomous boards and the law says that they can make their own decisions. I get it, but we ought to be better here in Edison. And we ought to strive for government in the sunshine. In terms of government in the sunshine, I also, one last point, I appreciate Mr. Pointer asking the 48-hour notice question. I would encourage the city administration, Mr. Administrator over there, I would encourage the city administration to abide by the rule of law in the state of New Jersey. I was told that the zoning board did not have to follow the statute that the township attorney just told me. And they referred me to a court case, the Board of Education versus the zoning board, which was 2 years ago, as the reason why they did not have to post their agendas 48 hours before the meeting. So for the Charlie Brown's case, the most recent zoning board agenda was not posted the Friday before, wasn't posted the Thursday before. It was posted, I forget exactly when, but it wasn't 48 hours. It was Monday, the Monday before the Tuesday. So we would appreciate if the city administration could please, I understand what the law says, it says 48 hours, but we should do better than that in Edison. And if we could talk with our city administration officials, the secretary, and say, we need to make an effort to make sure that planning and zoning board meeting agendas are out according to the state laws, because we're not cutting it right now. We didn't do it, and the attorney for the board told me we didn't have to, which, fine, she's got case law, but really we should do better in Edison. And I think the mayor wants us to do better. So I'm not sure where the attorney was coming from on that. Thank you very much. I'll sit and listen.
Councilman.
I'm just going to let the counselor just answer your question.
Sure, I just want to clarify what was said earlier. I believe the question, as I understood it, was whether or not 48 hours was required for notice of a meeting. With regard to agendas, though, the state law does not require that the agenda be made available 48 hours before the meeting. So that certainly is a good practice, but not required under state law. It only that the meeting itself be noticed.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Do we have any other members of the public? Okay, Christo, I think you see that. Listen, I just wanted to, I know you're going to use your 6 minutes. If anybody had to get something in.
No, he's going to go up, so I'm going to get a rebuttal. Thank God for him. Did my time start yet? Have I been recognized? Thank you. It's a new law. You might not be up to speed. I believe we're supposed to have a civil rights commission here in Edison. We do not have a civil rights commission. Would you like to start a civil rights commission? Also, for what Brescher said about the live streaming for public safety, I don't see why not. I don't see why we can't have some cameras here, some cameras out there, and just stream all the time. Then the boards, they're screwed. They're just gonna, all the time, it's gonna be live. I don't think you need a legal opinion for that. It's just common sense. So you said less than 50 days. Joshi did a good job. He walks on water. He's Jesus Christ. I say in less than 50 days. It's how you control the narrative. I say in less than 50 days, complete disgrace. $110,000 for Ray. He walked out the room. No one even knows who the guy is, what he does. $100,000 for Sam, for himself. He gave himself a raise, and you guys allowed it. How that can happen, I don't know. $100,000 to Deal. So we're paying Deal to tell Sam how to do his job, okay? Complete disgrace. Then we pay him $60,000 for 3 months. Cassidy Grom, we pay $80,000 to slander the residents of this town for the politicians. And that's $640,000 wasted. Oh wait, I have to add in the $200,000 for the fake construction company. So $640,000 wasted, almost $1 million. And I'm sure I can go back to other things we wasted money on. He probably wasted over $1 million easy. Less than 50 days has been a disgrace. God knows where any of this money's been going. What's your name, lawyer? I'd like your name, please.
David Minchello, thanks.
Okay. So I've been threatened from Tony the Phony, D. Pascal, the library trustee member, probably with Metuchen Mayor and other Edison BOE members, Sheevy and Burrell, that they want to get me for federal wiretap, all because I recorded within a public meeting Tony the Phony texting the Metuchen Mayor who to attack during that meeting. Is it your opinion that someone can be charged with federal wiretapping? Don't you think that for the library, I know they can, I know I can, it was a public meeting, but don't you think for the library or a trustee member to be going threatening residents is a form of coercion? It is coercion. It coerces us not to do our civil rights, and wouldn't that be a felony? Conspiracy to deprive someone of their civil rights? Are we allowing our board members to just walk around committing felonies? I mean, what's going on around here? I see. How much time do I have left?
2 minutes, 24 seconds.
2 minutes and 24 seconds. 640,000 completely wasted in less than 50 days. Imagine what he's going to do in 100. And that's just the amount that I was able to look at, and I wasn't really looking. So who knows how much was really wasted. I bet you Councilman Brescia can do a better job than me. He probably knows a lot more things, what's really going on. But all this money being wasted, we can't even pay to build another school. What are we doing out here? I don't think it was appropriate to pay this guy for 3 months, $60,000, so this way Deal can finish off his, his job over in South Plainfield as, what is he, help me out here, Brescia, principal? So we're gonna wait for Deal to finish out his job over there to pay him $60,000 so Deal can come back over here and make over $100,000? Are you kidding me? We could have kept Maureen. What was wrong with Maureen? I don't even like this guy. Every time he's out in the hallway, he doesn't even acknowledge me. He tells me to send him an email. At least Maureen was courteous, you know? She actually pretended that you existed, you know? 60,000 for this? Are you kidding me? That's what this town has came. Maureen's been in this town for how long? How are you going to explain that to her during the COVID-19 pandemic? She gets kicked out of here for nepotism, for corruption. How much time do I have left?
33 seconds.
33 seconds. I hope you can all send Miss Maureen Ruan's family an apology and say, yeah, you know, we're corrupt. We did this to give Deal $100,000. We didn't need to do it, but you know, we're sorry. And did Deal at least, I mean, does Ms. Ruan at least get her pension? I mean, Deal already has his pension from this township. He's going to get his pension probably from South Plainfield over there. Does he really need that money? Is he just the same guy who violated my civil rights? I'm supposed to go to him as the BA? That's a conflict of interest right there.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescia.
I think we might be able to help our resident, and I understand his concern, you know, about the monies being spent, because we don't have a budget, right? If we had a budget, simply put, we would know whether the expenditures, we could afford them or we can, and where we actually sit. Matt, do we have a timeline on a budget? I know you don't get your state numbers, I think, till March or something like that, but do you have a timeline?
We're waiting for the governor's announcement of the state numbers in March.
Right.
It's been pushed off until, I think, March 8th or something like that.
So we would have it, like you're preparing the budget, just waiting on those final numbers, correct?
We are actively working on the budget, yes.
Okay, so we'll follow up in March. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Oh, yes, Sandeep?
Sandeep Ramakrishna, 36 Edgewood Road. I just want to complete my thought on summarizing what Paramus, West Orange, and Oradell has considered. The purpose of appointing a special counsel to the board is to advocate for the public interest and not for individual interest. This is all on the ordinance, and Ms. David, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you.
And I'll send you the ordinances as well. It will consist of an assembly of it will consist of assembling a pool of attorneys appointed by the council, being funded by an escrow which is collected through the applicant themselves. The advocate shall review and prepare documents and inspection of development under construction to the extent that is determined to be beyond the scope of the expertise of a professional normally utilized by the municipality. And these are excerpts again. I just picked up some of the main points, and so are some of the other people. Here are some of the examples which trigger a public advocate. An applicant seeking a use variance, an applicant seeking a major subdivision, applicant seeking 3 or more variances, an applicant seeking variance in parking, applicant of any nature involving property which is adjoining a parkland, a wetland, a facility owned by municipality or Board of Education, applicant where the density is, variance in density is being sought, applicant parcel within 200 feet of a state highway or a county road. These things automatically trigger a public advocate, and by definition, any normal application would not trigger a public advocate. So I hope you consider our request, and I'm happy to work with anybody who wants to explore more, and I'm going to give you details. And I believe this is in line with the transparency pledge Mr. Joshi made us today. So very happy to yield the time back, and let me know if you have questions.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the public comment? Crystal, you have a rebuttal?
So we're gonna pay $100,000 to a new BA, yet we pay him $60,000 for 3 months. We could have just went and got a new BA and only had to pay, $40,000 more? So why the stupid spending? I mean, I don't understand that. To the chair, through Councilman Brescher, what's stupid spending, you know? It's so obvious to me that by the time Sam Joshi is done, he's not going to not only not get a second term, double, triple, quadruple the residents might have to move out because their taxes are going to rise tremendously. I mean, that's just common sense. All this money, stupid spending, just so him and his friends can fleece us. Absolutely disgusting. How much time do I have left, Marlena? 2 minutes. 2 minutes? God bless you, Miss Loeffler. God bless your husband. You didn't answer me about the threatening members of the public, government official threatening members of the public, coercing members of the public. I'd like
Crystal,
to hear
we're
an
not
answer.
going to have, our attorney's not going to address an issue that's happening in the Board of Ed.
It's a town issue if you're threatening members of the public. So I'd like him to address that. Absolutely. So are we going to make the Civil Rights Commission and do the law? It's a new law. We have to have a Civil Rights Commission. I'd like to be on that commission. And, you know, maybe make Brescher the head of it, you know, because he's the only one up there. He respects everyone's civil rights. I mean, what are you going to do? Appoint someone who completely does not respect our civil rights? It won't make sense to me unless we appoint Brescher. Will you do that, Councilman Coyle? Does that seem like something that you might be looking to do? Uphold the law and put a civil rights commission, something that we've been asking for quite some time now?
I don't think he is.
Wait me out. How much time do I have left?
35 seconds.
35 seconds. Let's go, Brandon. God bless Donald Trump. You know, we should have all known we were going to get someone like Sam Joshi, because look what the whole country got, Joe Biden. So it's not like it was unexpected. We need to educate the voter base. Award system's not going to fix that. Start educating the voters, okay? Because what you're going to have is your wards are going to start getting hijacked. Like, what's going to happen, Councilman Coyle, if my ward gets hijacked by, let's say, somebody who's already filed malicious charges and is maliciously prosecuting me? Who then do I go to air my grievances? I'll end with that.
Council President?
Yes.
Yeah.
Councilman Brescher, do you mind if I just, for courtesy, I just close the public portion?
No, I'm commenting on the public portion.
The Councilman,
fine.
I have a right as a
No,
city
it's-
council
I-
to
I-
address the public.
I asked for a courtesy to close it. You're welcome to continue. Sure.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we close the public portion.
What I'd like to say, Councilwoman, can you please hold yourself in your
Yeah,
seat?
we can close it, then you can speak.
No, I'm speaking, and I would appreciate it if the council president and vice president could handle decorum and not interrupt the speaker, please. Again,
Council
Ms.
President,
Council
I'm
Vice
not
President,
interrupting
Council
the
Vice
speaker.
President,
Council
you are
President, I'm
out
not
of
interrupting
line. You are
speaker,
out
but
of
I want to
We're
close
going to let
the
him.
public
We're going to let him
service portion.
speak. We're going to let him speak. Council Vice President. It's only going to be a few minutes.
Yes, okay.
Councilman Brescher, please continue.
Yeah, I just want to do it correctly because the public is the public and then our portion is our portion.
Right. My portion to speak and comment to the public will not be stifled by Council Vice President Joyce Ship Friedman.
I'm not trying to stifle you.
You
Don't-
did, and you
No,
continue
I
to
didn't.
interrupt. I'm sorry,
excuse
but
me,
I'm
sir,
gonna
I
buy
think
you
I can-
Robert's rules.
Excuse me, sir.
Mr.
Stop using my
Christo,
name. I'm
I'd
not in
like
it. I'm trying to follow the
tell
law.
you that when we're talking about supporting the mayor and about approving the bills that we have, we need to support the mayor. We need to give him the tools for him to be successful. And that's one of the reasons why, we go about this and we do approve it. It would be beautiful if we could get a budget in January and then know where we are the whole time. So there is certain spending that we do have to approve so that, he can be successful. And I wanted to let you know that. It's not that we don't look at these things. We will, and we will look at his budget that he puts together. As far as council president putting me on boards or something, I don't know. Looks like council president has taken me off of boards. So I'm not sure what issues he has, but I will guarantee that I'll be holding everybody accountable to all the boards that they are at every meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Are there any other public comments from the?
motion to close the
Done.
public
Motion to
portion.
close the public portion. A.J. Patil. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public portion is closed. Any council members have any comments?
Councilmember Pointer.
Councilmember Pointer?
Thank you, Council President. In regards to what Sandeep had brought up, I did a little bit of research on it. I will forward you the information because there is court documents in regards to it. Some items that we should specifically follow, especially in regards to the financing of it. The Paramus Ordinance established it and put a time limit of 4 years for it to be reconsidered. So that's something for us. And the language between that and like the West Orange ordinances were slightly different. In regards to transparency and residents being represented and or informed for upcoming developments, one of the recommendations I made to Mayor Joshi was appointing a citizen representative to the Technical Review Committee, which is authorized by 39-12.15 of our code. And I believe that he is in favor of that, and I think that will give us a bit more transparency in regards to the upcoming developments. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Jump-Pointer. Are there any other council comments? Seeing none, I just also wanted to clarify that I don't believe the mayor is getting paid any more than the statute that we have right here. Matt, is that true? He has just a statute salary of $49,000, that's correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's not been changed. And I also just want to, in our BA's defense, I think he was a good choice, and I think for those who may not agree, have not given him time, we've brought in an expert that has a lot of experience throughout history, throughout the county and the state, and it's certainly good for Edison. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do it in a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.